Next one. All right, guys, welcome to Champions League. We're going to be focusing today on Arsenal, who came first place in qualifying. Perfect sheet. They're doing okay, but
Ajebota boys.
Arsenal, the Ajebota boys. Yeah, Arsenal's a good team. They're not physical, but I think their biggest problem
is soft football.
Yeah, their biggest problem is that their coach, what's his name?
Mikel Arteta.
Arteta is rigid. He's still playing this same rotate the ball, try to go through the flanks. You don't use your number 9 to score. You don't use your number 9 to move off of the ball. Style of football. They don't have a number 10 playmaker. They're not creative, and this is going to hurt them. I know they played this highline team and they press, but we saw what Man U did to them last week. Where there are things you can do. If you counter press them, if you counter press these guys, they're in trouble. And if they meet a team like Bayern Munich in one game, with the type of work that Bayern Munich does through all of their players, Musiala, Harry Kane, and Olise, all of these guys press, and they do a lot of tactics, they overlap, they're going to have a hard time. Also, they'll have a hard time, even though we know that Barcelona plays a dangerous highline, the level of energy that Barcelona uses to play might exhaust Arsenal because they're not physical and they don't have a high level of energy other than Declan Rice. What are your thoughts on Folabi?
Yeah, actually I agree with you. Mikel Arteta doesn't have faith in his substitute players who are just as good as the first team players or even better. But in this game, because of what happened against Manchester United, he fielded a couple of them. If you look at the defense, Mosquera and Calafiori played in central defense. There was no Gabriel and Saliba. You look at the fullbacks, Lewis Kelly and White. And then you go to the midfield, you had Havertz returning.
You're talking about today, right?
Yes, today. Yes. And Eze started as well. And then you had Madueke, Gyökeres, and Martinelli. So it was a much changed side. And that brought a lot of...
Kai Havertz. Kai Havertz as well.
So that brought a lot of freshness to the team, and the guys really proved themselves. The problem with Arteta is he wants to play every game with one system, with a starting 11, and expect the same results, but it ain't going to happen. The reason why you bought all these players is to give the first team players a breather, because you have
to rotate.
To rotate. But look at what happened against Manchester United. He brought 4 in at the same time. These are players that he has not
given the
opportunity. Panic substitution. So those guys were looking at themselves and they were like, what's going on here? This guy just used us as like a fire, like a safety valve. The possession was not there. The tidiness was not there. And of course, at the end of the day, they lost that match. But it brought them in to play this game, and there was a lot of free-flowing football in the game.
The only reason he brought these guys in is because he's already qualified. So he didn't bring them in.
Yes.
He didn't bring them in to
I wanted to say that if they were in danger of not qualifying, he wouldn't have fielded any of these guys.
He wouldn't have brought them in. Yeah.
And we saw what happened. We saw what happened when he had Eze playing as a attacking midfielder. That game where Eze had 4 goals or something. But now he changes up his system again. He uses them as a winger. So what I'm saying is that Arsenal is definitely a team that can win the Champions League. But with the way they play right now, they have a big weakness is the rigidity of the team and the system of play, and the fact that they don't play through the center at all. Yeah. They don't play through the center at all.
When you are involved in so many competitions, you have so many games to play, you have to use your substitute.
You need to rotate.
You need to rotate
your players.
The problem with them is not that they don't rotate, is that tactically he's not flexible tactically.
He's inflexible tactically.
Yeah.
All right, what are your thoughts, Mr. Weber?
What both of you said is just the truth about Mikel Arteta. And the Arsenal players also, they have their own share of it for the blames. Because if you watch today's game, when Kai Havertz played, the first goal that Gyökeres scored, Kai Havertz gave a true pass from the midfield. That's what Odegaard is supposed to be doing. But Odegaard, he likes romancing the ball, turning around, taking time. Nobody wants you to be doing that. He's like a war front. You need to be smart, quick in taking decisions. That's his job. Then Arsenal, they like doing back, like the match against Arsenal and Man U. When Arsenal they were winning 1-0, what led to the equalizer was a mistake from the back, because they want to play from the back. All this tiki-taka passing ball, you give me, I give you. Nobody, you want to win the league, you don't play that kind of football.
You know what they do?
You go direct.
Let's keep passing until we get corner kick.
Exactly. You always depend on corner kick. So if you watch Manchester United players like Mbemo and this other guy from Ivory Coast, what's his name?
Ahmad Diallo.
Ahmad. They always go for the offensive. They play direct game. They go for the offensive, take the ball to your opponent. But if you watch us now, they like to pass. You don't make progress when you pass like that. In a big match, you have to. So Mikel Arteta needs to change his mentality. You have a big squad. Rotate the squad. Let the players get used to each other. But using a particular kind of player always in every match, they only get to their first 11. Like the match against Man U, when he brought those 4 subs. To me, they can't do anything. Even if you want to make a sub, first of all, study the game and know where you have the lapses before you bring in these players. Okay, you brought in that 4 sub. That means you already know the weak point. If he knows the weak point of the team before bringing it up, you would have made the sub before Man U scored those goals.
Of course.
So I think that Snap team and Mikel Arteta, they has a long way to go if they must win the league. If not, okay, look at what's it called, Aston Villa. They've signed 2 players now. Douglas Luiz and Tammy Abraham to reinforce the squad. Man City, the same thing, but Arsenal, no way.
No.
Because it's not just about having big squad.
I think they have a better chance of winning Champions League than English League, which is funny enough. But I think in one game, Champions League is different because it's one game scenario.
Yeah.
But I think that English League is tougher than Champions League, to be honest with you. What do you think?
It's a marathon.
Yeah, I agree with you. And it's very demanding. It's a marathon. Yeah. And Arsenal's most productive player, Bukayo Saka, is having some sort of a barren spell. He hasn't been scoring regularly. He hasn't been assisting regularly. And that's because he's playing too many games. And it goes back to the Arteta argument that Arteta needs to give his substitute the freedom to replace the first team players. And if
Madueke is on the team now, wow.
Yeah, Eze is not going to the World Cup now because he doesn't play regularly. How is Thomas Tuchel going to see Eze and call him up for the World Cup? Because Arteta doesn't use him regularly. When he was at Crystal Palace, he was a starter. So I think the problem with Arteta, if Arsenal somehow don't win this season, although I think they're still in a good position to win, Arteta would have himself to blame, really.
What do you think about Champions League? So that's the focus of our show today. Hey, Williams. I'm just joking with you. No, but you're right. No, this is a mixed show. But what do you think their chances of winning Champions League? To be honest with you, I still put my money on Bayern Munich.
Their chances of winning the Champions League for me is not as cut and dry. They're going to prioritize the Premier League. And anytime they have a Premier League game, they're going to begin to rest players for the Premier League at the expense of Champions League. That's why I think it's not cut and dry for Champions League. That's what I feel.
And right now, I still think Barcelona or Bayern. PSG is struggling now. PSG didn't even make it in the top 8.
Yeah, but the problem with PSG is that they become more dangerous in the latter stages of the competition.
Yeah, in quarterfinals.
Remember, they lost to Arsenal in the group stages, and then when it was time for knockout, they won that game. So
the semi-final, they won Arsenal.
You never know with them.
Okay.
And the problem with Arsenal players are their mentality. They don't have a winning mentality. You need to psych yourself up. Tell yourself, this thing, let's go for it. Let's go for the kill. But instead, they just want to relax as if they are winning 5-0, which is not the right mentality.
They don't have a killer instinct at all. All right, guys, so we're done for today. This is our last for the month. But I'm sure I'll see you guys on Saturday for EPL.